Top of the morning, everybody, and welcome to Popcorn Culture. As always, I am your one true host, Jazzy J, joined as usual by my co-host, Ben's not here today. If you're watching, you could probably already see that. But if you're just listening, I can describe to you the phenomenon. Bingo. I'm looking over at Ben's chair. There's nobody in it. In fact, all that's sitting in it is a jar of what has been labeled danger beans. Buzzy Danger Beans Carlin, I guess, is the co-host today. So for the record, as far as the one true hostmanship goes, I have not actually been dethroned on Patreon, but since Ben's not here, I get the win this week. Boom, this counts. This is official. Put it on the board. I think that's only fair. If Ben can't be here, he can't be the one true host, right? Right. We're all in agreement. Great. Cool. Thank you, everyone. I would like to take this time to thank myself for showing up to work today, and a real honorable mention to Ben, who's at this point in a third place to Danger Beans. So since Ben's not here today, Ben is out because he just got back from his awesome trip to Vegas with his wife, Alice, and it turns out that Alice seems to have come down with the COVID, which is, of course, the worst. As such, she is not doing so great today. I think she's okay. She's gotten the booster and everything, but Ben is at home taking care of Addie and unable to help me record today. So instead, what we have lined up for you is kind of a compilation, if you will. I have not been told exactly what the compilation is. Ethan, who edits the podcast, has assured me, though, that he has skimmed through all of the previous episodes and hand selected all of the funniest bits according to him. So please enjoy this specially curated episode of Popcorn Culture. Take this walk down memory lane. And these should be some familiar clips, and you'll know we've switched to a new clip whenever you hear that lovely transition sound, which I guess we're going to go ahead and play. Thank you for listening in today, as usual, and enjoy the show.
Are you ready and super psyched?
I'm ready and super psyched.
You got a lot to say? Got a lot in your brain today?
As always.
Are you going to talk like that the entire time?
I'm Batman.
Great.
Welcome to the podcast. Do you like butter on popcorn? It's too greasy.
It sounds like something Batman would say. Helicopter.
Helicopter.
Today's episode of Popcorn Culture is brought to you by Popcorn Culture,
the best podcast you've ever heard. And time.
Wow.
My goodness.
Deafening silence.
Deafening. There was a silence of 3 parts.
And it took 5 seconds apiece,
yes.
Which added to 15 seconds, which is because this is the first week ever of the Pop where I am not the host. That is a painful amount of silence.
15 seconds is so long.
It is so...
Pop of the morning, everybody, and welcome to Popcorn Culture. As always, I am your one true host, Jazzy J, joined as usual by my brother and the one true co-host, Buzzy Benjamin B. How are you today, brother?
I'm not well. I'm not, I mean, not good.
Not good?
To be frank.
Top of the morning, everyone, and welcome to Popcorn Culture. As always, I am your one true host, Jazzy J, joined as usual by my brother, the one true co-host, Buzzy Benjamin B. How you doing today, Ben?
Buzzy Benjamin B.
That's what it says.
I like how in our notes it has Benjamin in air quotes. Buzzy Benjamin.
As if that's the nickname.
As if that's the nickname.
It's not like Benjamin Buzzy B. Pop of the morning, everybody, and welcome to Popcorn Culture. As always, I'm your one true host, Jazzy J, joined as usual by my brother, the one true co-host, Buzzy Benjamin B. How are you, Ben?
I'm good. I'm fine. I think I'm sad, but like not sad at the same time because the hostmanship has once again changed hands. And in fact, last week we had pre-recorded the episode, and unbeknownst to us, I believe we even talked about the possibility.
We like joked about the possibility. Pop of the morning, everybody, and welcome to Popcorn Culture. As always, I'm your one true host, Jazzy J, joined as usual by my brother, the one true co-host, Buzzy Benjamin B. Ben, you're gonna have to explain yourself.
Listen, if I'm not going to be the host, then I'm not going to wear the host apparel, and therefore I can do whatever I want.
Have you been? I wasn't even aware that this entire time you've been specifically carefully choosing your wardrobe to
absolutely
reflect hostmanship. Pop of the morning, everybody, and welcome to Popcorn Culture. As always, I am your one true host, Jazzy J, joined as usual by my brother, the one true co-host, Buzzy Benjamin B. What's happening, bro?
As
always and forever. Luke has gotten to the point now we're going to bed, and he's like, he keeps asking me to like show him like tricks, I guess. But what he means is like the kind of like tricks or faces that you can sort of like make with your body, or like sounds you can make with your body, kind of thing. Like I know you and I can both make like a fart noise, like a fart noise with our hands. So like
ready?
Yeah. Oh, yours was so good.
Thanks.
That was with Ben's hands.
Years and years of practice.
Years of practice, man. I thought I was good. I got nothing on that.
This is like one of those things that I think whenever I learned a new noise, I would do it so frequently that I remember in high school I would like walk around and I would just be like making this noise with my hands, and I would like walk into class, like teachers and stuff would look at me and be like, Ben Carlin, and I was like, what? No. Let me clarify.
That was not me. Well, I mean, it was just not the way you think.
Not the way you think. It's much funnier than that.
It's much funnier than that. Watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But so this could be like anything from like sucking your cheeks in to like make a fish face, to like winking, to going cross-eyed, to snapping, to like also all these little like things you don't think about. They're just like, kids love this stuff.
Can you do the elephant hand thing still?
Oh my gosh.
That would be a good one to teach
Crossing
him.
your fingers.
I feel like when we were kids, we used to do this. So it's basically using your pointer and your ring finger to hold your pinky down over top of your middle finger, and the end result is an almost like elephant looking like type of thing.
Yeah.
But I remember like I could do that in elementary school, and that would be like a trick that I would like show people.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, you guys entering the talent show. Good luck.
It's like I can make an elephant with my hand.
With my hand, okay. So be
pretty
prepared.
Cool. The other one that I loved learning for a long time is from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. There's a scene where Cameron is like sitting there and he's making like a. Does that sound about right?
It's supposed to sound like water dripping into more water. Yeah, it's like. I always feel like anytime like people would see the movie and then they see you try it, and I feel like they'd always just be like, you're just making the sound with your mouth, and I'd be like, no, but I'm not.
Right. or sort of like, or I sort of am, but like on some level, like that is the point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway, I always thought that was a particularly fun one.
This is, I'm sure you remember this. This is just a good old fashioned GMA story.
Okay, great.
From way back in high school, where we didn't have much to do, so sometimes we would find ourselves just like wandering around Walmart.
Oh, I know this exact story.
It was so so we were wandering around Walmart, and the prank, if you even want to call it that we thought was going to be hilarious, was to try and find a different shopper's cart and try and drop something like inappropriate or comical into their cart whilst they weren't looking, and then watch them deal with it at the checkout counter.
Yep. So the idea would be that they would get up there not having realized that it's been dropped in their cart. Yeah, and then there's like that moment of realization between like the cashier and them, and the cashier and them, and the item, and what and how. I didn't
put this in. Oh, wow.
And then how do you backpedal out of it?
Right.
And yeah, so I think as kids we thought this was like the funniest.
We thought
thing
this
ever.
was going to be hilarious. But we know what. Once we got in there, it was like this question of like, wait, who's going to go do it? Who's going to go do it? Who's going to do the thing? And like, who's going to try and drop something in the cart? And I think no one really wanted to do it. So we were in like the toy section of the area, and I put on just like this kid's Batman mask,
Yes.
which barely covered my face, was way too small. And I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to go do it. Which on the one hand made us way more conspicuous.
100%.
Like it was not helping.
100%.
It would have been way better if I could have just been like totally cool and just like walk past these people's cart, dropped in the item, no problem. Didn't do that at all. It was super obvious. They almost immediately caught on. It was not good. Not a good situation. And of course, then they're just like, who's this kid? Like, what? But it was like the power of them not really being able to see my face, because I was wearing this like crappy, even though it was this very tiny Batman mask. It was like, I just felt like, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. You don't even know who I am.
Right.
Hey, I'm not even me. I'm Batman. Yeah.
No, Bat J.
So anyway, then we are leaving the store, and these guys, the guys we did it to, were just like super angry at us because we were obviously just being terrible teenage boys or whatever. Yeah. And we're like standing sort of past the cash register. We're like watching them, and they like look over at us, and I'm still wearing the mask. And he just like locks eyes at me, and he's like, "What's your problem, man?" And I just like didn't say anything. I was like, I have no answers. I'm just gonna stare. I'm just gonna keep the stare. And like the one guy kept getting angry, and his friend was just like, dude, we just leave him. Like, just come on. Like, let's go. Anyway, didn't say anything. He eventually just like got really mad and left the store. And I was like, Batman wins.
Yeah, it was like this was like one of those like fly on the wall moments that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Just like,
that's the thing. You and Mike and John are just standing behind me, just like cracking up.
Well, and that's the thing, because it's like, it's so, I think even then it was like very out of character,
right,
for you.
Yeah.
Who like I think it would be easy to say that you never got detention, silent lunch.
Yeah.
Chastised ever.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yet here you are like pulling a prank on someone we don't know in a Walmart.
Yeah. In a Batman mask.
In a Batman mask. It's like, what is this?
Yeah. Anyway, but that's like the power of like just having even the lightest amount of like identity concealment.
Yeah. At least when used for good and not for bad.
Well, these guys got so angry, I'm not sure we weren't doing some good,
I mean, it's the type of thing that I remember that even just the nature of how big the Walmart was.
Yeah.
That like it always felt like it was the case to me that like we could go and it was so big that we could just like run our shenanigans, which was nothing ever really like that bad. But like we may have gone to like the football aisle and like literally just passed a football back and forth in the aisle.
Real troublemakers.
I know. And I think at the time it was so common. We had a code word for it, which was lobster bisque. Do you remember that?
No.
It was like whenever an employee was coming over, we'd be like lobster bisque, and then that meant to like put the ball away or something. But I remember being like, how is it that people like who is paying this much attention that people are constantly coming over and telling us to like stop doing this. But now as an adult, I'm like, it's very, very, very obvious that what you were doing is not shopping and instead playing inside of the store. He would have made a marvelous tight end.
People tell me that.
Yeah.
I think that was what I was going to try and do, or what, I don't know. My friends at the time told me I should be.
Yeah. It would have worked.
Yeah.
It would have worked.
We'll never know.
But
Never ended up playing any sort of official league football.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so I remember my horror story from this period of time was we, again, new neighborhood. We were like living, I think my grade had like 20 people that lived in our neighborhood. And so when it snowed, which is very fitting for right now because it just snowed this week.
Just snowed.
We would all go and sled on this one hill. And usually what sledding slowly descended into is what we called extreme sledding, which was basically everybody starts at the top and the goal is to knock everybody else off of their sleds.
It's full contact sledding.
Full contact sledding.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it was all well and fine, but it was definitely one of those like activities where it like that phrase, it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. It's like, it could not be more true. I actually have an example I want to tell about you after this one as well.
Okay.
I know you know the story.
Oh,
but,
no.
But so the thing was though, is that like, you know, it was all good, but then I am at the bottom of the hill at one point in time and I'm like on my knees, like sort of just like looking back up the hill. And one of the kids who lived in the neighborhood did play football and he just comes and like spears me from behind. Like,
from behind.
From behind,
wow.
Full speed ahead. And so I'm like, this is my first winter with all these people. Like, again, it's like, I'm kind of like the new kid, all this stuff. And I remember like I came up and it was one of these things where it was like, it hurt so
like,
bad.
I can't cry right now.
It was like, don't cry.
Don't cry.
Don't cry. And I bawled, man. It was just like, it hurt. So it was like, there's nothing I could do about it.
You got hit in the spine.
Yeah,
like, of course, yeah.
Right, with a titanium bar across the front of me.
Yeah.
So it was just, it was very painful, but it was also like, that's it. I'm going to cry in front of 20 of my classmates right now.
It's gonna happen.
And there's nothing I can do about it. It happened here. Somebody asked you a question.
So I'm just sort of like waking up from the anesthesia and like they're asking you basic questions to test whether you're like coherent or not. So basically I end up failing the test, basically is what's happening.
Excellent.
Excellent. It's like, that's what they're doing. But the question they asked me was, what's your name? But what I heard them say was, where's your penguin? And so I'm just sitting there in the bed, and everyone else in the room heard them say, what's your name? And I'm like, I don't have a penguin. And they ask it to me several times, and it sounds the same every single time. So you keep like, I don't have any penguins.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have penguins.
I don't have any penguins. And now I feel like for a while penguins were like an inside running joke.
Yeah, for sure they were.
You had some like a stuffed penguin. I think somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere along the way. I don't know. Penguins. I mean, penguins are pretty cool. No doubt.
They are remarkably cool critters. Maybe we could bring back the fun fact about coyotes, except it'll be fun fact about penguins.
Fun facts about penguins.
Don't they not have knees? Penguins
I think that's true.
Penguins don't have knees.
Yeah.
So fun fact about penguins: they don't have knees.
I think there is also a hockey team for the Penguins.
You're kidding me right now.
I think it's the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I feel like I'm being plum joshed.
I'm not joshing you, man.
Because their thoughts aren't just commingled.
They're so basic, but they are really impressive in the way they get around it.
Okay, but here's the other thing too. All right, so let's look at something even more basic than building a skyscraper. Which, in case you listener at home were like, "What is he describing?" I was describing a skyscraper.
Yeah, I understood.
It was like a termite mound.
Yeah,
but like for humans, a human termite mound.
Do you think it is possible that you could just build a structure from Earth all the way to space, or would that be like so tall that the spinning of the Earth would just like mess it up?
Oh man, you're asking me questions that I don't think I'm prepared to answer.
Right?
It seems
could you
like
just be like, I will be taking the elevator to space today. Whoop. Voop. Probably more than a voop. It's probably like a voop. Ding. You're like, oh, come on. Who's getting on it? 1069. Gosh.
I know. Wouldn't it be interesting, though, if it was just like an elevator and then like the top of the elevator is just open to actual space? So you go up and the projectile nature of the elevator like rocketing towards space and like it gets to the top and it just sort of slams and you get launched.
wait. Okay, wait, new question.
Open air into space.
New question then though. Okay. You build an elevator that just goes all the way into space, like you said, but it's open air at the top, right? Okay. But so basically what then you have is a tube going all the way to space.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right? If there's nothing like blocking that tube and it's just like an open straw to space, could you stick your head in the straw and breathe?
Oh, goodness me.
Or like when are you able to breathe? Or will that does that like pierce the atmosphere in such a way that it just like sucks all the oxygen, just sends it into space? We're all just dead.
Like basically, I feel like the question you're asking is, if you were to run a tube to space, does space create a vacuum into Earth?
Yeah, exactly. That's what that's what I'm asking. That sounds scary.
I'm gonna say no because I need it to be no. I think the other thing too is because like what we breathe is like elements of the periodic table, right?
Yeah.
And they are very, 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 very small, which makes me think that they would be capable. You would almost have to have the structure be made out of something that the atoms couldn't like pass through, right?
I'm talking just an open tube to space.
And just an
open tube to space. If you created that, would all of a sudden just like suddenly like the air starts sucking out through it?
All right, well, this is what I need to back up for a second, because you're saying an open tube. Do you remember Pogs?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think that's where you're going.
It's poppin', everybody. Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin, and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
Ben, I got a question for you.
You just toss it right at me.
What makes one pasta better than another? Not a corny joke, genuine question.
Okay, I actually have the same question right now because it like so many other things, I have wanted to DIY myself some homemade sta.
You want to make some homemade pasta?
Some homemade pasta because I'm still currently, as of today, I'm on day 30 of 75 hard.
Yeah.
Progress going well. One of the things I am struggling hard with what I'm finding to be just the utter frustration of every human being in my life. Like, nobody wants to give me advice because they're all just like, I hate you. It's that I can't eat enough carbs.
Can't eat enough carbs?
I can't eat enough carbs.
You should try some garlic bread. Or some pasta.
Some pasta. So you instructed to me, you were like, you should just go home at the end of every day and just eat a giant bowl of pasta.
Yeah, I'm on the spaghetti and meatballs diet.
Are you?
No, that's what you should be saying to people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, what are you doing, man? You look great.
Yeah, go ahead and try that sentence out. Just be like, yeah, do you feel like you could even say that?
What? No. Which part?
I'm on the spaghetti and meatballs diet.
I would probably say Speggi.
So you can't say it. Okay, so you can't. I got it.
Answer? No.
Do you have anything like that where you're like, I could just Google the answer, but I don't even want Google to know. I don't know. I don't want it to exist anywhere that I was unaware of the information.
I have to tell you that this happened today.
I
deleted it from my Google search history because I heard a new piece of information over the weekend that I have tried to tell everyone who will listen, and no one thinks it's interesting. And so you've been in 2 conversations today where this has happened. But I found out over the weekend, I was at Alice's shop, I was doing some work, and her mom and her were talking about like something that happened at the Met Gala, and they told me that Kim Kardashian is only 5'1" or 5'2" or something, and I feel like
shorter than you'd think.
Shorter than I thought.
Yeah.
By like a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why. I was under the impression that this person was like 6 feet plus tall. And I like when I discovered that, I was like, oh my gosh, this must be one of those things that nobody knows. Like, because maybe like all the different ways that they like present her and stuff is in such a way to like make her appear taller. Or,
right.
I don't know.
Like, it would not surprise me if like every picture you've ever seen of Kim Kardashian has been like photoshopped to make her look taller, or if like anything especially branded by the Kardashian empire like is intended to make all of them look larger than life.
Yes.
Very purposefully. Like, it is like, it's of course no secret that she's 5'1" or anything, but like you are never going to just see images of her and assume she's short.
Well, and here's the thing, yeah. So your Beth wife,
yes,
your wife Beth,
yes,
is 5'2".
Correct.
And
so she's taller than Kim Kardashian. Ha!
Right. Take that.
Take that.
So no, I think what was so mind blowing about this to me was just that like I was like, I can't believe that this person that I've seen on like every single tabloid cover and I don't know, BuzzFeed list, and she's just everywhere, as a person. It's like, I cannot believe that I am like a full head taller than this person.
Right.
And I mean, not that it makes any difference at all.
Right.
But I found it to be mind blowing. And so it was one of these things where like we were at the gym this morning with our coach Gabriel, and I was telling him about it, and he was just like, okay.
So?
And I was like, oh, that didn't go how I expected. So then I got to the office and I was like, all right, time to try again.
Time to blow some minds, guys. Did you know
Ethan Riley, let me tell you.
We're going to get like a cease and desist from the Kardashians and be like, no one's supposed to know how tall Kim really is.
I know. But so then, so here I am, and I'm like at this point where I'm kind of like, this was mind blowing to me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe that's it. And this is a person, like, I've never watched a single episode of like Keeping Up with the Kardashians or anything. It's not someone who I particularly follow other than the fact that they're just like a pop culture icon.
Right.
You know, it's just like, it'd be impossible not to be aware of them. I feel like now it sounds like I'm defending myself a lot. Anyway, so I Googled it earlier because I was like, maybe how unsurprised everybody I was. I was like, what if the information that I got was wrong and she is in fact like 6'1", and then all these people are gonna have egg on their face because they were like, yeah, of course, she's short, no big deal. Right. Like, you know, and it was like,
but actually,
and it was like, haha, the fun fact that I told you that you totally just, you know, like let wash over you as if it wasn't the most fascinating piece of pop news you heard today. It was incorrect. I was incorrect. And so I Googled how tall is Kim Kardashian. And then I was like, I really don't want this in my Google search history. So then I was like, I'm going to figure out how to delete that.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that was like one of those things where I was like, I don't want Google to accidentally think that I want more Kim Kardashian information, news, anything, updates.
Yeah.
So
do you know what? I start trying to like remember a joke, and the punchline to my joke was, "You think that bad? You think that's bad? I just got stabbed pretending to be a snowman." And like I woke up and I was like, and like I had like told the entire joke, and there was this entire story attached to it, and I was like, man, I can't believe I remembered that joke. And then I'm like trying to remember, like, is that a joke? And I was like racking my entire brain, my entire history for when did I ever hear the joke in which this was the punchline for?
Right.
And I'm like trying to like reconstruct what the joke was entirely. And I think basically I was having another combination. I think I had a different joke from my past that I was warping a lot in the dream to end on that particular punchline, but I looked it up and I could not find any joke that ended, at least on the internet, with "you think that's bad, I just got stabbed pretending to be a snowman," or whatever.
This sounds like a fun challenge, like for Reddit, is to write the accompanying joke.
Write the accompanying joke. It did remind me of one of my other favorite jokes from all time, which is probably what the dream was sourcing here, I'm going to guess. Okay. But now that I feel like we've gone this far, I feel like I'm going to need to tell the joke.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so, but I think you've probably heard it before, and maybe you listening at home have heard it before. It's as ever, a bit of a long-winded joke, but I think it's worth it.
Hey, you know what? We got time.
All right, so set up for the joke. We have three guys standing in line trying to get into heaven, and it's St. Peter, I think, who guards the pearly gates, right?
Okay, sure.
And it turns out that, oh boy, heaven's just getting real full today. So he has been instructed to only let people in if they have had just a truly bad day here on the day they die. Because, I mean, let's face it, you died that day. Probably a bad day anyway. Just, a little light barrier to entry.
Okay.
Here, so we got our first guy in line. He walks up and says, whoa, hold on. You got to tell me about your day. I can't let you in unless you had a really bad day on the day you died. And he's like, oh boy, don't you worry about that. Let me tell you about my day. For weeks, I have been suspecting that my wife has been cheating on me with another man. So today I left work early to go home to try and catch her in the act. I get home, I bang on the door. I hear some clamoring about on the inside. She answers the door. And I start looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, he must be here right now. In fact, I even go in the other room and I find someone's pants, not my pants, on the bed. And I'm like, I've got him. So I search the entire apartment. My wife is, of course, yelling at me the whole time. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Of course, I'm not having an affair with you. I search the entire apartment and I just can't find him.
Okay.
But then I see on the balcony, I live on the 23rd story of an apartment building, someone's fingertips hanging over the balcony, and I just know I've got him. I run over and I just look down. Sure enough, there's a man hanging there. I throw him off the balcony and he lands 22 stories below, not on the ground, actually in a tree. Can you believe it? It breaks his fall. He doesn't actually die. So in a fit of rage, I take our refrigerator, throw it over the balcony. It hits him, kills him instantly. Then I'm so excited and crazed in the moment that I have a heart attack and die. And that's how I got here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So bad day. Wife cheating on him. Maybe committed murder. Not great. Anyway, he gets in.
Okay.
Guy number 2 walks up. He's like, oh, no, hold on. You got to tell me about your day. I can't let you in unless you've had a bad day. He's like, oh boy, have I had myself a bad day. Let me tell you. I got to work today. I've been working crazy hard all week, and my boss walks into my office first thing in the morning and just tells me that I'm fired. That's it. It's over. And I can't believe it. I've been putting in so much work lately. I'm infuriated. So I go home. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm freaking out. What I do when I'm stressed though is I start working out. So I trying to calm down. I'm doing my workout, and I live in like the 22nd story of an apartment building. So where I do my pull-ups is on the balcony of the guy above me. So I'm sitting there, I'm doing my pull-ups, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this crazy guy comes up, throws my arms off, and I'm like, what? Now, would you believe it? I hit the trees below. It breaks my fall. I survive. I cannot believe it. But I only have about a minute to not believe it, because the guy then gets his fridge and throws it on me, and I die instantly. And I can't believe he hit me with the fridge. Honestly, it was a pretty good shot. If I'm being real.
It's not a bad
23 floor shot.
Right.
Anyway, so that was my day. Can I get in? And he's like, yeah, I see what's happening here. But yeah, you can go on in. Yep, you can go on in. I guess the guy number 3. Guy number 3 says, oh, hold on. Got to tell me about your day. Can't let you in unless you had a really bad day on the day you died. And he goes, bad day on the day I died. Poof, I have a story for you. All right, picture this. I am naked inside a refrigerator.
So I have another bounce house story that I would love to tell.
Oh, please do.
Because apparently I have many of these.
All right.
So one of the other things that happened during my middle school socials, the same ones where I was touching Matt and dancing for the last 15 minutes, was we would have the bounce house that was there, and I had one of my classmates, and I just have absolutely no idea why this became the ambition, but like we would plan on trying to figure out how we could knock the bounce house over.
Just like everyone at once.
Yes, exactly. And like, so like we would know in advance the week like leading up to the social, and we would be like talking about it at lunch, because we were like worried that the bounce house attendant, who it now occurs to me was probably like the son of the guy who rents bounce houses, like does not care.
Right. Hey, it's Friday night. You want to go hang out in a middle school gymnasium and monitor a bunch of 8th graders?
Right. But so here the plan that we've come up with, because we'd be like, well, we don't want them to know what we're up to, so we need to get in there and just like bounce around as if we're just like having a normal little fun time. Yeah. So like we would get into the bounce house and be like pretending to be using the bounce house as intended
by just jumping around,
by just using a bounce house how it's intended.
Right.
And then we would have like a code word, which was like established in advance. And whenever my friend would say the code word, all of us at once would go and tackle one of the quarter pylons, which was so effective at knocking it over. I mean, it was just like we would just all barrel into it, and I mean, it's like I have to imagine that there was like a small hazard of being trapped in the now tipped over pile of vinyl. Yeah. And yet
that's hilarious.
We did this.
How many times did you do it?
Multiple.
I can't believe they keep letting you in.
Oh, same. And maybe this is why we were like, we'll get in, we'll pretend we're bouncing. we'll be pretending to have a good old time. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so that's how we knocked over a bounce house.
That's fantastic. Okay, I I have one more bounce house story.
How is this possible?
I know. This is less of a bounce house and more of a bounce obstacle course.
Oh,
If you
okay.
will. You know the giant inflatable obstacle courses? Sometimes you'll see it like carnivals and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so this was at junior. This was at after prom for my junior prom, and it was just in like the gymnasium, and they had one of these giant things in there. Me and my friend Bob were gonna like race to go through it.
Okay.
And if I was sure of one thing, is that I was gonna win that race.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
if there's one thing that I can imagine you taking more seriously than probably any other thing,
I learned nothing from the Y dance. It's bad. Here I am at after prom. I'm like, let's go. This
Right.
is great.
right? Yeah, your date's like, well, you want to go like hang out, we could like dance, we could go play poker. It's
She
like,
certainly was not. This was a very unfun dance date wise.
oh,
But
I see. Okay.
anyways,
sorry about that.
That's okay. I don't want to throw that much shade at my 11th grade prom date.
Sure. She's probably changed. I
she
bet
pro-
now
yeah.
she would love an inflatable obstacle course.
Probably. We
You
can
know,
only assume.
People change.
People change. People change. I would still love this. So I didn't change that much. But yeah, me and my friend Bob are racing through the inflatable obstacle course, and we get down to like the last part, and it is neck and neck, and the last part is like a slide down.
Okay.
Now, obviously, if we're neck and neck and it's a slide, gravity's going to take over,
Right.
and it's just going to be a tie. This is no good. The only way to defeat gravity is to propel yourself faster down the
Oh,
slide.
goodness gracious.
So Bob is sitting at the stop. He takes the slide natural style, which is to say, just sits on it. And I just jump, like propel myself downwards towards the slide, towards the ground, which is also just like a landing pad or whatever. But it's at like the structurally weakest section of the obstacle course, because it's like there's not a lot of air between the ground. It's like a foot of air there.
Typically, all you're doing is receiving,
Yeah.
like 130-pound people
Yeah.
who are coming down a slide.
Yeah, not me. I just skipped the slide and hit it full force. So of course I ended up rolling off the obstacle course, and just my head slams into the table that is not like 2 or 3 feet away from it. And I remember, it hurt a lot. I don't really remember it hurting that bad. I wasn't bleeding or anything, but I don't know, but I'm fairly certain I was like lightly concussed for the rest of the evening.
Oops.
Yeah, not so good. However, silver lining, not much of one, but another thing they had available to this junior prom full of high schoolers was gambling.
Naturally. Public schools just get it.
Public schools get it, man. No, by gambling I mean like they had like a casino area or whatever,
Sure.
where you could go, play poker or whatever. So me in my state here, I go and I sit down at the blackjack table, and Ben, I was like a blackjack savant for the rest of the night.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
I could just tell what the hands were going to be. And I can't even tell you how many hands of blackjack I won that night. It was like something like hitting my head. I don't know. I like unlocked something, and I was just like, I knew every time to fold, and I knew every time to go in, and it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then what did you win?
Just like plastic poker chips that you could go trade in for like lame prizes and stuff.
Did you get a cool lane prize?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Who's to say?
But like really, when it came down to it, it wasn't about the prize for you.
Oh, yeah,
It was just about the glory
It was
of
just about just knowing.
of being Alan from The Hangover.
Of just seeing the cards.
yeah.
Just knowing.
That's a really remarkable moment. So you had a big night. You beat Bob in the obstacle course,
Yeah.
and you ran the poker table.
Exactly. Yeah. So good night, all.
Is that I think you and I both became like croc
Oh, yeah.
converts over the weekend.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago when I went, I had like a pair of like Choco sandals, which are if you've ever had them before, I mean you can almost hike in them on their own. They're like a hiking boot sole with like straps on top. So they're really great, but they're also quite heavy because they're made for that environment. And so this go around, I took a cue from our good buddy Steven from our last trip, who had just brought Crocs, and they're just so ridiculously lightweight that when you get to the end of your day and you get to camp and you're able to like take your boots off and just put them into anything else that's more comfortable. We put our feet into Crocs, and it was like,
So much better.
and I was like, man, I don't know, like Crocs. It's interesting because I know that they're currently, from like a fashion standpoint, like air quotes in, and it's odd because like I remember when Crocs first came out and they were super popular, and then they sort of became like
like considered the mark of someone who has absolutely like zero fashion sense, and then they just came like rocketing back up.
Yeah.
Yes. They crocketed back up. And I think the thing, other than, two things I was gobsmacked about. First is that like when I was going to order mine like on Amazon, was that like the reviews were unlike anything I'd ever seen before. There's like, they have 5 stars with 340,000 reviews.
That is insane numbers on the number. Because like when you leave a review, typically it's because you were impressed with the product or you were unimpressed with the product.
Right. And but like I would even go so far as to say that like there are so many products that are good that just like people don't think to go and review because maybe it just sort of like meets expectations. Like Bounty paper towels, for example, might be like a great paper towel. And if you go on Amazon, sure enough, it will have like 5-star reviews. And I'm sure that millions of people have bought them, but like it probably only has like 10,000 5-star reviews, which is still a lot. But like for it to have 340,000 to me, I'm like, people must be shocked.
Croc shocked.
Yeah. Crocked. They put them on like to where they're like, I have to go tell people.
I got it. We're doing it right now.
We're doing it right now.
It's happening.
I know. Our worlds have been crocked.
Our worlds have been totally crocked. I couldn't believe it. Like ever since, I don't know when Crocs first came out. I feel like it was like right, like maybe like towards the end of my high school career. Maybe.
Yeah, I keep trying to think of like what the marker in my mind would be.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've like forever sat on the side of I don't care what the reviews are. They are so hideous as to nothing could justify them. End of sentence.
Well, that's the thing too, though, is that it's like I think that I have been taught because I feel like when they first came out, I thought they were cool, and then it was almost like they became cargo shorts. Or even Alice and I were talking about this over the weekend because she's had a bunch of guys coming in for like homecoming for like tuxedos and stuff like that, and she's like, I can't tell you the number of them that have mullets, and I'm like, because again, and it's just back, like they're just in again, and I'm like, man, like it's so I can't understand it, but also like I'm sure I'm wrong, it's like. All I know is what I've been taught about this particular thing, and what I've been taught is that it's not cool, but also it's like I'm clearly seeing now that like plenty of cool people are doing it, and it's like, well, Well.
Yeah, you're right. There's going to be like an entire generation of people who look back at their photos and their kids are going to be like, I'm sorry, Dad, do you have on tall white socks, Crocs, and a mullet in this picture? And they'll be like, it was yeah, of course I do, son.
Like, and I was wearing it well.
Yeah.
Like people thought I was cool.
Yeah. First of all, you don't even know.
There is a note here in our show notes that says Luke is using surprising deductive reasoning.
Oh yeah, man. So let's see. This morning, I was talking to Luke last night before I went to bed, and one of the things he does a lot of times, like we've had this like slow progression of how Luke wakes up in the mornings.
Okay.
Where like you don't like his room is across from the twins' room, and what you don't want is for like Luke to wake up and then be frustrated that he cannot leave his room. And so he starts yelling and wakes everybody up.
Okay.
Like, this is no good. There's no way around the fact that Luke is just an early riser. Like, this is just a true fact. He gets up at 6:30 almost every single day. We can't do much about it.
It's gonna pay off when school starts, though.
At some point, yeah. So we got, for a while, we had like this little like, alarm clock light in his room, and it's still in there, and it like turns green at, a certain point. And it's like, when the light turns green, then you can come out. But like he started waking up like an hour before that would happen, and he just like he would get so mad that the light wasn't green yet that it was ineffective. He couldn't entertain himself. It wasn't like he'd wake up and it'd be like, oh, it's green, I could leave.
Right. Yeah. That becomes a big ask at some point for a 4-year-old to have an unknown amount of hours long patience.
Yeah. So that maybe it'll come back around at some point. But so then. We were like, he would get up and he would come down, he would, come wake us up to be like, can, come downstairs so I can like, help him turn on the TV or whatever, because he doesn't like know how to do it. And so like our old Apple remote broke, so we bought a new one that had like much clearer buttons on it.
Okay.
So almost specifically so we could show Luke how to use it so that in the morning when he woke up, he could go downstairs and do this himself.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah. And that worked out. He learned how to use it, but he would wake up, and before he would go downstairs, he'd come wake me up and go and just inform me that he was going downstairs. Like, Daddy, I'm going to go wait downstairs for you. And I'd be like, you can just go do that. There's no need to inform me of this departure. Okay. And that was like, oh, now I'm just awake. There's a 0% chance of going back to sleep after that. So that was always a little frustrating.
You are cursed by the fact that like once you have been awoken, you can't, like, it seems like you can't go back asleep.
It's not one of my stronger suits for sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've gotten to the point now where like Luke he'll like just get up and go all the way downstairs and just not bother me at all, which is fantastic. Or I think the way we now what's happening though is that sometimes he'll get down there and it'll get to the point where like, because it'll get like past 7 or something, and like, oh my God, did I actually get to sleep in? But Luke will start just getting hungry, which is also a fair need. You got to go feed him and stuff.
Yeah,
but then
fair.
he'll come up and be like, I'm hungry. And it's like, yeah, that's fair. And it'll be past 7, so the light will be green. So whatever. That's what happened today. I woke up like right in the middle of a REM cycle. I was just zonked. I was completely out. And Luke wants me to get him food and stuff. And I can hear the twins crying upstairs. Like, okay, I gotta go get them. I gotta get coffee. And it's like, it'll be easier if you're all getting breakfast at the same time. And I'm like, going to go up the stairs. And he's like, no, you don't. No, Mommy's getting them. And I'm like, no, I don't think she is. I haven't heard her get up. And he like goes to the bottom of the stairs and he like brings me over there and he's like, look, listen, the sound machine is off. That means Mommy's in there getting the twins. And I was just like, I stood there, I thought about it, I was like, actually, you're right.
This was not something that like I really like bit hard into, but I do remember as an elementary school student, I did have a token that I carried with me.
What was it?
So we used to have a store in Roanoke, Virginia called CMT. And it was a really like odd and cool and fun place because like it was like a store that was there for like sporting goods.
Yeah, sporting goods store.
Yeah, but like not only did they had like a rock climbing wall and they sold like winter jackets and they did like ski rentals and stuff like that. But then they would also like make like jerseys and stuff like that for teams that like might need them for like rec league soccer or whatever, like a local kickball team. But in addition to that, they also did like trophies. So like in one area of the store, you could like walk through and they would have like all the various like, at the end of like your soccer season or whatever, like everybody would get like the little trophy with like the golden soccer figurine on top. And it's like, this is like where the coaches, I guess, would go to like figure out like which one they were going to do for that season. And I don't know, whatever. But it was interesting to me that like I was at the place that sold those things.
Yeah.
Because I do always remember as a child being very excited on trophy day.
Oh, I mean, you get this brand new shiny thing. It's basically like getting treasure.
It's basically like getting treasure.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much what I discovered while I was at CMT on this particular occasion. Because we were there, just buying, I don't know, like a winter jacket or something. And I remember walking through the trophy area and like my eyes were just like as big as, you could imagine.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. Wait, I've been playing 10 to 12 soccer games a season to get one of these, and you can just come buy the treasure?
Right, yeah. Exactly. These are just available for purchase at any time.
Mom, I would like this trophy, please.
Well, so pretty much that's what happened. There was this like golden key, and it's the type of thing that like maybe like you know how like sometimes like people are awarded like the key to the city as like a mark of like recognition or something like that. I imagine that this was a very similar type of thing, except I mean it was maybe like 5 inches long, and it didn't open anything obviously, but it was just a bright gold key, and I think it cost like $4.
Right.
And I was like, Mom, can I get this? And she was like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like,
no, what?
And I remember I called it the key to the Odyssey.
What is the Odyssey?
I have absolutely
the
no.
Odyssey?
I don't know.
I never knew this.
Oh my gosh!
Oh
Yeah,
my
I call it
gosh.
the key to the Odyssey, and so I remember I would keep it in my backpack at all times,
Just in case.
just in case I needed the key to
You're
the
gonna
Odyssey.
find the chest.
As a kid, I just really thought that it was way too baked into me that you could be the chosen one, and I was like, I just want to be ready, like. Just in case. Oh man, I don't think I've said that out loud in like 28 years or something.
Wow. Key to the Odyssey.
The key to the Odyssey. But I remember I
feel like I know what the name of the episode is.
I know. So I would go and I had it in like the bottom zippered pouch of my backpack, and I remember like it'd be like a recess, and I would go and I would put it in my pocket, and I'd be out at recess, and I would just check it out.
Y'all don't even know.
Behold,
I got a really special object here. Yeah, that was that front zipper pouch on your backpack. It was like Trinket Central.
It's where you kept the
where you
cool
kept
stuff.
all the cool stuff.
Your token.
Oh my god. Oh man, now I'm thinking I also had a zipper pouch on my backpack that had all the trinkets.
Being in a book originally?
I don't think so. The other one I thought was kind of funny because it just sort of it plays into it approaches it from a different direction.
Okay.
It says you'll go down in history and geography. like you'll go down in geography.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
I like that one. That was fun.
And there's a bunch of these.
Yeah. Then there was one like Napoleon, like Columbus, like the dinosaurs.
Oh, I like the dinosaurs.
I like the dinosaurs. That might be my favorite of these.
The dinosaurs. Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite.
Okay. All right. And then the last one was like the Simpsons. Dope. Yeah, less good.
Meh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think my favorite of all those was like the dinosaurs.
Like the dinosaurs.
Way better than Elvis. I mean.
Okay.
Right.
Now to throw back to a far-reaching pop topic. The Washington Dinosaurs.
The Washington Dinosaurs.
What do you think?
Man, I don't hate it.
Just generic dinosaurs.
That gets George Washington and dinosaurs.
Yes.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Did you know this is like one of those TikToks that the TikTok is called do you ever get the facts that will warp your perception of time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen those.
Okay, so this is one that I always think is mind blowing to me. But the first fossils weren't discovered until after George Washington died. So George Washington had no concept of dinosaurs.
Yes.
I was like, that is so baffling to me.
Okay, so here's my follow up to that, because I feel like I have recently seen that before the discovery of dinosaurs, people had still already come up with dragons.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
I guess you knew about lizards.
You would know about lizards,
Yeah.
and so maybe you could just sort of use your imagination or be on some type of opioid and be near a lizard.
Maybe. Okay, similar thing while we're on Fantastic Creatures. We were like, why are unicorns always so rainbow and glittery and stuff? Why is it where's the stories about unicorns as attack beasts or something?
Yeah.
And someone wrote in from Scotland and said that the original thing was that unicorns were thought of as things that might come kill you with their horn.
Oh wow.
Which is why there's unicorns on lots of Scottish flags and stuff, because they project strength.
Interesting, because the fact that the Scottish flag has a unicorn, or that it is the national animal.
Yeah,
It's
right.
It feels like one of those almost bordering on hilarious trivia facts.
Yeah.
But then it's when you hear it like that, it's sort of it would almost be.
Oh, it's a threat.
It's oh,
Don't make me bring my unicorn.
menacing. Pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Pretty cool. Okay. I like it.
Yep.
The Washington Dinosaurs.
The Washington Dinosaurs,
They could-
which George Washington did not know about.
of which he didn't know about, of which the mascot is a brontosaurus named Rudolph.
There you go.
I came full circle.
Yeah, full circle. Everyone's like, why is it called Rudolph? It's it has to do with the song.
It's a very specific conversation
specific.
about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
All right, the Washington Dinosaurs. Let me just say that the Washington football team, which was having an amazing midseason turnaround, went on an awesome 4-game win streak, like knocking off top quarterbacks left and right, has done just a complete 180 and gone in just a 4-game losing skid.
Yeah.
And has totally knocked themselves out of contention. So yeah, that's just the update on your Washington football team update, which I'm sure you were real keen on hearing. If you don't follow the NFL, there for 4 weeks, people were like, "What is happening? There's something magic is happening." Now it's not. It's gone. The magic's gone.
Here's the thing that I feel like people underestimate about the NFL is that it's like I feel like there's a perception that it could be seen as like this, like maybe like masculine kind of like sport crash into each other type of thing.
Yeah.
It's not that. No. It is like a soap opera / reality television unfolding before your eyes.
It's This is what I've told people before.
Yeah, it is like the just most unpredictable wild ride of like drama and I don't know, like unexpected turns and twists and injuries and
Yeah.
you
can't think of the NFL as just a single team, right? Like I think you could conceivably, if someone asked you what your favorite TV show is, I think you can conceivably just say the NFL and like,
oh yeah, that's a good
you know
point.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like I think we've talked about this before. Like how many, like what a treat for every NFL fan that every week there's 16 new episodes.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Each one just
not only
wild.
that, there's 16 new episodes, and then there's 6 days in between those episodes of 24/7 coverage of the episodes.
You know what's it reminding me of for whatever reason?
Yeah.
Is I think Wendy's at one point in time was talking about like, what do you use to like,
Fpoon.
A spoon.
A spoon to eat a sockwood.
I said, yes. I remember the first time I ever heard somebody use the word spoon. It was like, even now, I can't not laugh.
The only sockwood you eat with a spoon. That was the ad. I loved it. I think it's still hilarious.
It holds up. It ages well.
They were like, let's change spork
to
spoon. It's so much better.
It is so much better. It is so. I would abandon spork.
Spork
so
altogether.
If I was that meme where it's like the guy holding hands with the girl, but he's like looking backwards.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking back at Spoon.
I'm looking back at Spoon.
I'm leaving.
See ya, spork.
See ya, spork.
Oh man! And they also invented the word sockwood to go right there with it.
I know.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, that's just good old fashioned humor coming through.
Ben, while we're talking about food, can I ask you some questions about butter?
Now I'm worried.
Well, guys, I'm recording this without having actually listened to the middle section of the pop, so I hope everyone enjoyed this specially curated episode of Popcorn Culture. Let Ethan know just how much you loved it all. We hope Ben and Alice feel better soon, and until next week, pop.